Thank you for listening to the Content Magazine podcast, Conversations with Silicon Valley's Creatives. I'm Daniel Garcia, your host and the cultivator of Content Magazine, published by SV Creates. Hello, welcome to the Content Magazine podcast. I'm Daniel Garcia, the cultivator of Content Magazine, and
I'm David Valdespino, the developer of Content Magazine.
Here we are, David. 2 years now?
2 years.
Is this your 2-year anniversary?
It is just about a couple days past, but yeah, two years.
Yeah,
with
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations to us.
Best 2 years of your life, probably, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever worked for a better boss than me?
No, but different industries, though.
Yeah.
You know, I spent 10 years working in the bike industry prior, so different personalities, different backgrounds. But you are the best magazine production boss that I've had. Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that compliment. So we're going to look back just kind of briefly at 2024, because we're now in 2025.
Yeah.
Which, when you're my age, you say 2025, and it's like, you can't even believe it's real, because it's so space age.
Yeah, what was 20 years ago, right? That's what you were just talking about yesterday, right?
I know, Y2K was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. And I remember being 25. Poof, wow. So anyways, let's not get on that. So let's go through the issues of the year, which was was 16.1 through 16.4, which was our 12th. Let me see, actually. Let me take a look at it, because it's in here. Our 12th or 13th year. 12th year.
Yeah.
12th year of printing a magazine. That's this next one coming up is going to be our 70th.
Yeah.
So if you do the math, then you could figure it out. It's like 60 something. So this was probably 60 something, 60.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60, 66,
Yeah.
67, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of issues, and we do about 13 people in each issue. So this last year we covered, I counted it, and I think it was roughly, what did I say? Like
65, 66?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So, and that's not including some of the collectives that had some more people. So that's pretty good. Plus podcasts and stuff like that. It's been a good year.
Zooming out. So, 12 years. So you started the mag in 2011. 2012,
yeah. February was the first launch party, 2012 at San Pedro Square Market.
Yeah. And so, when I first started, I got to see your GoFundMe kind of promo from way back in the day, because I was deep in the archives when I first started. So I have to bring that back up. But so what was your kind of goal when you started the magazine, and maybe we can kind of frame the conversation in that kind of way too? Like, how are we tracking here?
The goal, there was two ideas. One, there's three, maybe four things. One, just to feature the local creatives, right? Which I think we continue to that. Two, to try to do a second issue and a third issue and a fourth issue. The early days were like, are we going to be able to do another one? But then behind that, though, with me, I wanted total Bay Area domination with Content Magazine.
Okay.
So I think that goal was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think featuring the local creatives, we've definitely done that very well with these 13 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think everything's kind of panning in that direction. I mean, total domination of Bay Area might still be a little ambitious, but we're expanding the region, right?
Yeah.
So that's been a lot of fun. I mean, even looking at the different events that we've done this year for these magazines, the different folks that we've gotten to feature, kind of expanding.
Like this one was held our pickup party was held at the State Street Market
in Los Altos.
Is that where you were going? Were you segueing into that?
I'm trying. But that was a cool pickup party, because we had because the space was designed by folks at Gensler.
Yeah.
So they were on the podcast kind of when they first opened the space.
They were in the podcast. They were also in an issue whenever that opened up. I can't remember what issue that was. So Brian and Corinna, who are the heads of the San Jose Gensler office, helped kind of like create that space. So we went back there to do an issue. And then, of course, we featured Ben Henderson, who's done sign painting for them and also just all throughout San Jose. I mean, you go through San Jose and he's like the new kind of like sign painter of the area. Right?
Yeah, just anything you kind of have to question if Ben might have painted it. And his team, right? So Brush House, is his whole kind of project.
Which was interesting because when I was thinking about this issue and featuring him in this issue, I kind of wanted to focus a little bit more on his music.
Yeah.
But I probably didn't communicate that to the writer, which I don't think I did. But it's fine. It's of course, his sign painting and stuff like that. But now he's starting to do a little bit more of the music. I think even you might have this in 2025. Are you doing a show with Ben here at the Break Room?
Well, I think that this was kind of like an interesting kind of turning point for Ben. In the article, I think Esther wrote the article.
I think so, yeah.
And it kind of covered his past history with music, all the bands that he's played with and everything else, and then the transition into sign painting. But he performed at this pickup party, and then, Ben kind of has had an emphasis on getting back out there. And he brought me out to Foxtail Fermentation Project, who's been a great partner this year also, or last year, 2025, for Make Music Day for the city. So there was a show that he put together of some kind of, cave troll musicians that don't necessarily get out and about. So, but I kind of told him like the importance of having somebody like Ben in the community that kind of drags people in their wake and lets them know that they can do it. So I got to perform there, did a little singer-songwriter set, and he's got plans. He received the San Jose Jazz.
Something award.
Yeah,
All-Star.
No, the new music.
So for 2025.
He has a performance coming up at the end of February. It's actually on my birthday, February 28th.
Oh, really?
So he said he might try to pull me on the stage.
Is that a leap year? No, it's the 29th is the leap year.
29th.
Okay, I don't
Day short.
Yeah, too bad, because now I have to remember your birthday.
Well, you got it on tape now.
I can remember every 4 years. But yeah, so then you're going to be with Ben actually in the Break Room on the 28th?
Well, he's kind of expanding his repertoire. He's got some folks that are going to be playing with him, maybe a horn section, try to make it jazzy, right?
That sounds great.
I'm probably just leaking this whole thing, but
sorry,
he said
Ben.
But yeah, he said he's going to try to bring some folks up there. So I'm definitely going to try to stop by and check it out, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I
was excited that this year you did some DJing and you also did a couple of music things, and it was great seeing because even when I was hiring you and talking about it, you said, oh yeah, you do music, and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, like I do music too, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw you play that song which you wrote,
yeah,
which is the cigar smoking
Back on the Stogies.
Yeah, that was like a great song, and I thought it was like an old classic or something like that. It was really good. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean that's the good thing about country kind of as a broader genre is 3 chords and the truth, right? It's kind of all that it takes. So so I can handle that.
Yeah. So getting back to the people that we featured, that's you, David.
Yeah. Yes, that is my goal.
So that's great. And Ben did the cover for us, which is really super cool. I was actually looking at it. If you look at this last year in 2024, we only had one person on the cover, which was Esther Young.
Yeah.
But it's been the artists that we featured. This one, of course, was Giraffa. This one, RC, who I'm super excited. So, these 3 artists, I'm like really super proud that we were able to feature them and have them on the covers and feature them. We did feature Giraffa like the first or second year.
Yeah.
So it was great to have him back, and hopefully because of this, I think he might be having an exhibition coming up. That's kind of in the works, coming up maybe in 2025, maybe 2026. But
and if folks kind of read the article, like definitely an emphasis for Giraffa getting into like the fine art gallery spaces, and the cover artwork is an example of kind of the stuff that he's doing. So really cool stuff.
Yeah. So we had Nacho, of course, from
Gilroy.
Nacho Mayo was in there, and then I don't even know, Pamela Walsh, great, Palo Alto.
Yeah, that's kind of the breadth of the region there, right? Palo Alto to Gilroy.
Yeah.
Taijan, who's in they were in Los Altos at that point.
They still have their shop that was in Los. Yeah, so we have to check up on that. We should do it before. Have fact checkers. Oh yeah, Will Sprout, which was actually with. I forgot about that. So then this last year, because of our connection and because of our partnership that we have with Needle to the Groove, I got to get my microphone. Will Sprott was one of the artists that Needle to the Groove was producing.
Yep.
And then we did do a vinyl.
Yeah.
Was it in this issue?
Yeah, in the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of got the wheels turning. We kind of talked to Needle to the Groove.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
There's with Valley Wolf.
With Valley Wolf, yeah.
Right.
So we started talking with them about Will's release, because he released a full album on Needle to the Groove's label, which is really cool. And I think that maybe Will's second release. But then from that kind of transitioned into the next issue, where we actually got to do that flexi disc of Valley Wolf, who had been previously featured in the magazine.
That's been a dream of mine forever, to go ahead to do a flexi. So that was
and all of the hula hoops that we had to jump through, and stuff getting delivered from
Russia or wherever
from
printed.
Eastern Europe, and the timelines. But shout out to Needle to the Groove on facilitating all that. I mean, we just it
was a little hairy because we weren't sure if we were going to get them in time to be put in the magazines to be sent.
I think
because they had to go from the printer or from the flexi people to our printer so that they could stuff them and then they can put them in the mail, and it was getting close to I think they sent us they sent us some issues, and we got some of the before, so
we were preparing to stuff them ourselves, which is 1,000 copies.
So that's so that's kind of this issue. That was great to have the party there. We also featured Ars Los Altos, which is super great. Just what they're doing, kind of to bring murals and everything like that.
Yeah, public art, just a culture of art to Los Altos.
Yeah.
They just had that kind of art battle a few months back. Rowan,
that's right.
All of these folks that have murals in town all kind of came together and did like a little community engagement.
Yeah,
so
Francisco was there.
Francisco Ramirez.
And Elba.
Elba was there. Rowan.
Yeah, and they all...
Ben,
Yeah, they all did that's cool. And I love what they're doing. It's great. Like, her story is even great. Her and Karen... Maddie, just that, she was kind of helping out. She was a mom, and she started seeing there wasn't art in school, so she started helping out. And then I think she got hired by the city for a little bit to help with arts, and then she wanted to do even more, a little bit faster than you can do sometimes with city stuff, so she started this nonprofit, and then they've made murals. They do mural tours. And that was the connection, too. I've had seen Cameron his work when he did stuff with San Jose Walls.
Yeah.
But then I saw him again with there, and that's where we actually ended up having him in an issue. Actually, the first issue of this year. So that wasn't even in this year, but that kind of got the balls greased for where the wheels turning. Yeah. And then, why don't you talk about DJs? Because you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Soulmates. Mike and...
Chat.
And
Charlene.
Sorry, Charlene. I know you better than that. No, but they're a couple that, and their story is really cool because they met, back in the day. They have some kids together, and then they were both kind of into DJing. But now, Charlene hosts classes and gets all of these kind of up and coming women DJs into the scene, and then they're kind of have some residencies around town. I know at Cardiff and at what's the New York?
55 South First.
Yeah, I should know all this stuff better. But
that's right. It's tough on itself.
but yeah, they've been really awesome. They came and DJ'd at the Los Altos Pickup Party, and then they actually came back and DJ'd at West Valley for the May Pickup Party that we had. So they've been around. And
they're great people.
Just their mixes and kind of the variety of music that they bring to the different kind of atmospheres is super cool.
Yeah,
they're the greatest people ever.
And shout out to Alex Nobody who did the photos for this. That's the thing I do want to even just highlight our photographers.
Yes.
Like this was
Lauren.
Totally doing Arturo.
Those are so good.
And then Arabella, of course, did Curtis of Ex Nihilo, and also does those creative meetups. So that was kind of fun. This is kind of a fun shot. I think Eric Salazar was behind throwing the things as they were doing the shoot and stuff like that.
When we were able to partner with Ex Nihilo for that event at the Google Visitor Center.
Was that in 2024?
Yeah.
Wow, we did a lot.
Yeah. So they do their monthly creative meetups.
Yeah, it's actually coming up this coming weekend too, which I'm not sure when we're releasing this, but They do them, I think, monthly. So, Pamela Walsh. So I think we covered pretty much everybody. We name dropped everybody. Except for Miguel Machuga.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Which he brought those great pieces. His work is incredible. If you haven't read this article, of course the magazine sold out, but I think we have his article online.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time the magazine sells out, so you got to be a member in order to get it.
Yep.
Definitely got to make a plug for that.
Well, Miguel's piece in here too, talking about tie-ins. It's actually funny, this issue with our most recent winter issue, first of 2025. Camera one from Los Altos, but then Miguel in this piece talks a lot about his volunteering with One Culture Gallery downtown, helping to prepare shows, and then he was actually in the first issue of 2025 with the Grand Strike mural crew.
That's right.
Mural that's over on Santa Clara. So.
It's great work. Yeah, great stuff. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Rafa, we already kind of talked about that.
Yep.
It was great to have him. We already talked about why don't you talk a little bit about
Discos. Yeah, so, I mean, all of these tend to bring back the pickup parties, which I, do a lot in kind of the production, getting them set up. But, man, having Yvonne and Yosimar at the warehouse at Creekside Socials on Barack Obama across from the SAP Center, that was a real highlight. That was kind of like a last-minute booking. And Yosimar was the creative ambassador who was featured in this issue.
Yeah.
And I actually have Discos Resaca's album, and I was listening to it, and then Yosimar was on one of the tracks doing the intro.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, I'd love to get them together on stage and do a little bit of poetry and music. So
that was cool.
Really exciting to get them together. And again, shout out to Alex Nobody for that shoot, which was super fun.
Where is Yosimar in here? Oh, there he is. Yeah.
And this layout was so fun for the creative ambassadors, mostly because a lot of these folks had been featured previously.
Yeah, Yosimar had been featured.
Rios.
Rios has been featured.
Pantea.
Yeah, Panteo had just been the issue right before. Deborah we hadn't featured yet. Mm-hmm. And then Alice we hadn't featured. But so I had this idea. I wanted to do something with more photos type of stuff. And then my son, Jesse Santiago Garcia, who is available for any kind of hire for graphic design work, as well as does freelance stuff. Did the layout kind of like talked about the vision of it, and so it came out pretty cool. Yeah, there's Yosimar looking all dapper.
Yeah, it's cool to see the finished product, and then recently when you brought me into that kind of graphic design meeting with some of the freelancers, seeing your instruction, like I know that you have like a total view of what you want to see, which is usually just like something cool.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, do something cool.
But yeah, interesting to kind of hear how folks get kind of directed, and then the stuff that people come out with. So
Kid Lord, they played at the.
So Kid Lords was actually my number one played band on my Spotify.
Oh, really? In your Spotify recap?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, to be honest. Like, I love Kid Lords, but man, I was like slapping them super hard.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Leading up to this pickup party.
Yeah.
A couple songs in particular, I think War was like at the top of my list too. So they're so fun, and it was so great being able to book them. And their manager is 35 Mil Malley,
that's right,
who I got to feature from SJ Photo Walk from back in the day.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun connections there. But they killed it, and their performance at that warehouse was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'd say one of
the
my
Creekside warehouse. Yeah,
and one of my proud moments from that was my brother-in-law, shout out Brian, came up to me at the event, and it was the first one they'd gone to a pickup party.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, he's played in bands, and he's toured the country, and he's done all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he came up, and he was like, yo, like, this is a real event. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. So
just like the 67th real event we've done. Yeah.
But that's kind of been a constant theme, too. Like
they were great performing. And then actually, oh my gosh, what was so cool, I remember too, with the projection, Patron, what's the name of it?
Illuminate SJ Now, yes.
Right. And he said he was going to do the projection stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you do some stuff, whatever. We're going to know.
Came in with 2 7-foot towers.
Oh my gosh. And the projection that he did was like off the top. I mean, like what he does all the time, like he's got what he did for the break room again for the city thing. He's done it on I think he does it, projects on now onto St. Joseph at Christmas time. It is that he's done stuff on the museum.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's super cool. But also too, we had Chow Mein. Unfortunately, he was like traveling and touring, so he wasn't able to perform.
Chow Mein, if you're listening and watching, I still want to book you for a party. I think that'd be so fun to get you on stage.
Yeah, so that's cool. And this was a Stan. I don't know how to pronounce this. Olowski, whatever.
Olszewski.
Totally
not how it's spelled, but
Stan. Stan, and he had a baby this last year.
He did?
Yeah, so did Samantha Track with Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
One of our editors. They had a little baby, a lot of babies coming up. And then Esther wrote this article, which is super cool. This is photos by Jai. I don't know how I came across Amara.
Marlene, yeah.
I don't know how I came across her stuff, but I was like, I really like her music.
Yeah, and she's got a band project called Silk Road. Yeah. And then her solo stuff.
Yeah, she's got some kind of cool, mellow acoustic stuff, but then some kind of heavier, kind of rockish, guitar heavy kind of stuff. So it was great to have her perform.
Man, shout out to this issue. I feel like almost everybody in this issue came out to that pickup party and displayed, which was wild.
Yeah, there's so many folks in here. And then we had, of course, we talked about the ambassadors and the Julie Meridian. Like, I love this project that she did, which is so cool, taking digitally enhanced images or manipulated images and then turning them into paintings. Such a fun, just quirky thing to see, kind of like these digitally phony landscapes. Not phony, I mean AI generated landscapes, and then with oil painting or acrylic, I forget which, but like that juxtaposition, right, is like kind of like a fun. It was a really fun, beautiful project. I think this is some of the best work she's ever done, in my opinion. It's really beautiful. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right too. It's talking about
Brit.
Yeah, and then Brittany brought out her portable
Ruby.
Is that what it's called? Ruby? That's the name of the truck?
Yes.
Yeah. She brought that out, and then she did those portraits live there. Crazy, working so hard. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Britt, for coming out.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And there's Alyssa Ray right there.
Yeah, following Brittany on Instagram, too. Just the project she's working on. Yeah. Traveling across the country, doing photo shoots with roller derby. Releasing a book.
Yeah, and then Shaka Shah.
Yeah.
Like incredible, his incredible illustrations. So, I mean, quite honestly, and then Josie, great photographer and teacher and stuff like that. Yeah, man, you know what? As I look back, I always forget, right? Like, you get in the thick of them, and you're doing them, and you kind of start to hate it, right? And then you look back after a year, and you're like, these are freaking great magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are really, really
well,
good.
And it's hard to kind of take a step back too. You know, in some cases we're living in 2026 already. You know, trying to find venues and look at artists and think about what's coming next. But it's fun to take a look back. Yeah,
and then RC, I actually, how did I meet? When did we? There was a show. Oh, actually, I don't even know. RC was at a show with Works at Mexican Heritage Plaza, and he had a big, huge canvas there, and I was like, who the heck is this? And I saw his work, and I was like, this is incredible. And so I was so thankful that he was willing to do some work for the front cover. He's also ended up displaying at the last
pickup party
for the first issue, the winter issue. So his work is incredible.
And shout out to Tehran on that article because RC's work is amazing. And then when I was reading the article during proofing early on, I was like, where is this going? Because RC has such an interesting story of his family background and multiple generations of the South Bay, kind of Alviso area.
And the influences in his work, right?
Totally.
Where it's like mixed time periods and genres and cultures, like all it's... Yeah, and Tehran totally captured it.
And keep a lookout, too. I think that RC has a show coming up at No Future in the spring or the summer.
Okay.
It'll be a duo show. Two folks will be part of that.
Oh,
so
cool.
Keep
right
an
on.
eye out.
Yeah, that's cool, So, his stuff's great. Make sure you get your copy of this. And Xiaojie, there. Yeah, so we're, RC with incredible kind of graffiti mural style. And then Xiaojie, who's, totally doing commentaries on censorship and the history of Chinese culture, and you know what I mean, incredible artist and professor at Stanford, and then total honor to be able to display his work and what he's doing.
Yeah, and he brought a piece to the pickup party at West Valley College. So shout out to Mitra and the arts team over there for making some space kind of in their capstone gallery show. But the funny story there is that I ended up I volunteered to bring that piece back to Jauze's studio, which was an amazing experience over at Stanford campus, seeing where he works. Yeah. But man, I had that thing bubble wrapped 6 times and seat belted in and everything. Yeah. But such a nice
That was the first and last time that we're ever going to bring artists' work around. That's your responsibility.
but I'll say that's one of my favorite things about working with artists too, is like I do, to the nth degree, getting everything set up, and then they come and they rip it off and they pick it up with their bare hands and they throw it on the couch or whatever. So. Yeah,
it's theirs, so they can do that. Yeah. Well, it was funny actually. I remember when my son was first born, the baby's there and they're like, oh, you could hold him, and then they go to change the diapers and the nurses go, and they're just like flopping the kid all over the place. Yep. And I was always like, oh, and then you'll realize you still got to treat them nicely, but it wasn't.
Well, by the second kid, it's more like an artist with their own work.
Yeah. Okay, then Scott with the Break Room, incredible venue. He's really put together the sound.
Yeah, Scott's story is so fun too.
Yeah, so that's just kind of great.
I did interview Scott. I was like,
you interviewed Scott?
What did I do in here? Yeah,
I think he's a Spurs soccer fan. Spurs.
I don't know what any of that means.
Fan.
Oh yeah, Tottenham. Yeah, they have a football. They play football there.
Yes, the real football. Yeah. And then Elizabeth Santana, I've been wanting to feature her for a long time. She's been a part of the arts, theater, opera scene for a long time now. She's over at, is it Palo Alto Players?
Yeah, Palo Alto Players. Yeah. Talk about a lifelong commitment to theater.
Right. Yeah, totally. She acts and helps do everything for them. Yeah. Aldo Billingsley, professor at
Santa Clara University,
but he's been involved in theater, for a long time, and I know he's very involved also in the ICA.
Yeah.
So it's great to feature him and his work and his life. Carolina, right? Yeah, yep. Just kind of another performer and down in Gilroy area, or Sam, I forget. I'm sorry.
I think it's Gilroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, down in Gilroy.
It was a great show. I love that she was able to bring out kind of like a folkloric outfit, and then it's kind of mixed with her theater production. I think she does stuff with Teatro Vision and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Kodorin in Japantown is super cool. I mean, that's what I love. I love the diversity. I don't know who puts these together, but that person is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to see the different.
You mean these groups that we're featuring, right?
Yeah,
who puts those together?
Yeah. And it was kind of a fun.
They were so fun to have on site at the pickup party.
Yeah, great guys.
They were tabling, just such good energy.
Yeah, and then probably one of the best open mics in the area.
Truly.
With Henri and Ashley up in Mountain View at Red Rock.
Yep.
And then this is actually Henri's picture. It's kind of cool. I did a portrait of Ashley and Henri, or Henry, I guess. I just call it Henri because the way he spells it. But then he sent me a bunch of images that he has taken over the years, being a part of that. It's one of the best open mics and really diverse, great music. Have you done an open mic up there? You should go up to some Monday night.
No, it seems like it's totally like a, what do they call that? Like a, not coming of age, but just like a total cornerstone of like a South Bay music career is playing at Red Rock. And then after, again, it's one of those things where you feature folks. I mean, and then we follow them and everything else, right? But then I see them. It's like when you're in the market for, a VW Bug or whatever, and then you see them everywhere. So it just goes to show too, keep your eyes open because people are out there doing really cool things.
I know my daughter's boyfriend does comedy, and so he's done stuff there, and he loves this place. He also does the improv with Atu and stuff like that. But he said it's a great crowd. And anyway, so then Pamela, Hornet, total art supporter, and I just love this line that the. Who wrote this one?
Alyssa
Ray. Yeah, it's just a kooky dog lady who loves art, which is totally. She saw. Then Pamela saw that, and then I was kind of like, oh my gosh, was she offended that we put that?
Well,
on
Alyssa
there?
Ray still kind of questions that,
but I don't think she is.
No. Well, it was her quote.
I know. So I would kind of feel, Pamela, if you're listening, I'm sorry, we didn't want to offend you, but we thought that was just a way that you would kind of express yourself. And she did like a whole show in Texas just on dog art and everything.
Self-described. It was, and you know, I'm not worried about it. She just posted this layout recently, I think a couple weeks ago. So it's cool to know that it's still in rotation around her house and it's still getting around. So.
Yeah,
but Pamela's so fun. I mean,
yeah, she's totally fun. Her and her husband, I just really appreciate what they do for the arts. You know, especially in this area, they're really involved. She's really involved at the Cantor up in Stanford. Just like I think she's like kind of like a docent.
Helps with kind of guide experiences in that way. Yeah. Her collection.
It's like okay, well, let's go ahead and we'll wrap up that one. That was pretty good. So then let's go ahead and go to the last issue of the year, which is 16.4.
That's crazy. It's the last issue of the year because it feels like a long time ago now.
Yeah, and that's because the thing is, this is, you know, we've talked about this 100 times probably, just because winter splits 2 years.
Yeah.
Winter is a stupid thing. So when I was putting together, you know what I mean? So winter starts, like the one that's out now with King's art on the front.
Yep.
That's actually, you know, it's winter 2024, 2025.
Yep. But
it's the start of our 2025 year.
Yeah, so it's technically 24, 25 winter because winter,
because winter, so it's 17.1. So this is the fall issue, which kind of closes out our cycle of numbers.
And it came out mid-August. So it
at the beginning.
Over.
Yeah, it starts at the beginning. So
and then can we just demystify the numbers, because I don't know if people know this.
If people can figure it out.
Well, I mean,
they win a prize.
We put a lot of, you know, stakes into like the 16, and then it organizes our whole lives, right?
Yeah, so, which is a way to organize.
Yeah. So this whole run for 2024 was 16.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's been 16 years,
right?
Because you started it kind of like a ambiguous
so
number at the beginning.
Yeah. So to demystify, so the whole thing is when we first started. Even before we did the real thing, I called it 0.5 because it was like a beta-ish type thing, then we did 1.0, and then we did then I did 2.0, and then I did 3.0, and then we decided we were going to do a real print, and we did a Kickstarter, and so then I started out with 4.0, and I just thought that I could have done whatever, but I thought 4.0 just looked super cool, and I never thought that we would be down to 16. Do you know what I mean?
So that ties into the original goals being making the next issue.
Yeah.
So
that's what they say about if you listen to, you know, different like podcasts on magazines and stuff like that, everybody will talk about, anybody's who's ever done a magazine, the first one is easy.
Yeah.
Because you've set up a deadline, you've been thinking about this, you bring people together, you put it together, and you do it. The second one is the most difficult because all that energy and everything that's gone into that, and then now we got a second one. So I never thought that we would get past a second one or a third one or a fourth one, you know, and then now we're going to come up on our 70th issue.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that is a lot of credit to all the people that have been involved for the last 13 years. Like everybody's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. So I really appreciate everybody who's been a part of it. But at the same time, you know, it's just because I'm stubborn too. I was like, okay, we're not going to stop.
No reverse gears in this tank.
Yeah, there was one issue, and I can remember the issue and everything. I don't remember what number it is, but I was doing it, and that's the first issue that I had to do all the layouts and everything. And I was thinking, that's it. Like this is it. I'm not going to do this again. And then at that same time is when I started talking to Connie, and this kind of came. I was like right at the right time. Right when I was really like, I think we're done. Got to throw in the towel. So anyways, and speaking of that, people being involved for a long time, Esther, it was kind of crazy. Esther won the Emerging Content Artist Award through SB Creates. And just to demystify that too, I'm not on the panel. I have no say in it. So she won, and I felt kind of weird because she's been writing with us for quite a long time, and then she wins the award. So I thought people were going to probably be like, oh, it's insider baseball and all this kind of junk.
You know, and that's the thing behind these awards too. People don't realize, like, people win, it's great, right? That's who we know. That's what people apply for this,
year after year.
So it wasn't the first time that Esther had applied,
yeah.
and well deserved, man. And seeing the work that she's been doing, from recording things to getting around and just performing live.
And her involvement at the Mexican Heritage Plaza. I mean, and her writing for the magazine, and she just has really blossom into somebody who's a part of the South Bay arts culture. Do you know what I mean? So it was awesome to be able to feature her. It was cool. We did the photo shoot over at a place where they practiced. One of her bandmates over by in Blossom Hill, or Berryessa area. And then I was like, "Oh, can you stand up there?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So, anyways, and then that was the cover. Of course, I get to pick the cover, but Danilo.
Yeah, also, just the emphasis on all
the podcasts. Yeah. We're at Empire 7, but let's keep on going through. We got to do this issue because we're probably getting over time. What was all in here? Oh, yeah. Well, even before... why don't you talk about Liminal Space a little bit?
Yeah, Liminal Space with Weston and the crew down in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think of like the pickup party that we had at Mexican Heritage Plaza.
Was incredible.
So many times I show up to those events venues before the party, and it's just a blank canvas, right? But Liminal Space was totally one of those groups that showed up and just gave everything texture. I mean, it helps when you're wheeling in 6-foot-tall mushrooms with LED lights, but really kind of at the intersection of science and art and community. A lot of this kind of was this abandoned church that they took over a couple years ago, but they're moving forward, kind of youth programming, arts, interactive community work. So really cool.
Super cool. And then we have Allery, right, with incredible space on.
Talk about intersection of science and
right, and just like these are actually drawings that she did back when she was conceiving what kind of like a community garden could be like. Her vision for what she's done. There's what's it called? The Urban Hood? No, the
Agri-Hood.
Agri-Hood over right by Valley Fair, across the street there. And just her vision to make schools, to make housing developments, everything with their own sustainable garden. And then when we were talking to them, we met with, and we went over for lunch at their place, and it was all done by Chef Matt. I'm sorry, now I can't remember. Yeah, Matt. Just an incredible vision to see how you can make a sustainable existence, right? It makes sense that every school should have their own garden, produce their own vegetables and fruit, sustainable, and then give healthy meals to students. I mean, so she's really working hard on doing that. There's Chef Matt that's already there.
Well, and another kind of seeing it everywhere you go. I actually met a gentleman that worked with core builders who helped build the Agri-Hood.
Oh, yeah.
In one of the kind of cohorts that I'm doing with City of San Jose. And we were actually supposed to do a walkthrough of the space, but things kind of fell through. But he sent us a video of the development. And right around the corner from where I grew up, there's an Agri-Hood.
Oh, really?
That I had no concept of. I knew they had a giant barn in the middle of the housing development.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew that there were like flower beds, but it's all kind of part of this like movement of building housing around kind of sustainable growth and agriculture. So,
and then just because if you're thinking about that, you're thinking about art, science, community, and then bam, Stay Brown. That's the way we do it, man. We bring you eclectic.
Yeah, Theo's so cool.
Yeah, he's totally cool. Love him, what he's doing. Not only a great, incredible designer, but just thinker and father, artist, and just the Stay Brown. You got to listen to his story. Did I do it? We did a short little video too.
Yep.
And he talks about the Stay Brown kind of like idea and where that came from.
Yeah.
There's where, and then Miguel is wearing his shirt, so then he gets in there.
Yeah.
A little model. There you go. Steve Brown with his Mercedes. And then Stephanie Metz had her show that opened up at this
the Triton.
The Triton, this incredible
so
pink exhibition that she did. I think it's down now, but that was up for the majority of half of the year.
That rendering of the space in the Triton that's in the magazine. This was one of those really cool ones because I think there was an ad in the issue, and then it was her article, and then after the issue release, we got to go to go to the opening, and so it was all really cohesive.
And then Alyssa Wiegand, I've been wanting to feature her for a while. She's been doing murals and stuff like that for a while, and then just finally came together. Who did? Alyssa Ray wrote this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really cool, kind of crossing all kinds of different mediums. I mean, obviously graphic design, murals. She also plays the harp, which is mentioned in here. She's in roller derby, so there was a connection between Britt. They knew each other. And then another one of those things, some folks that I do Wednesday bike rides with actually are really good friends with Alyssa from SJSU days. So the connections are,
And there's Esther, and these are their content emerging artist work, which that's going to be coming up pretty soon. The applications for that is coming up.
Apply, yeah,
definitely apply, and it's like $5,000. Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
It depends on how many, because we've done 3 in the past. Last year we did 2. But it's
I'm not sure what's happening this year.
Ultimately, it's unrestricted funding. Of a substantial amount that goes towards your life, right?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want with
practice and everything. So.
And there's Elba. She was the other recipient.
The other recipient. Yeah. So we had performance, kind of music, and then visual art, and it's been really fun, kind of because I got to interview Esther and Elba, but Elba just had a show opening at Makla, a group show, so I got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Still up now, so go check it out. I think it's open till April or May.
Yeah.
But that's an all femme women's show. It's really fun.
Yeah, and then San Jose stayed with Professor Jonathan Fung, his students.
Yeah.
So we were able to take submissions from their class with some really fun up-and-coming photographers, which is cool.
Yeah, it was really cool to kind of connect with them on the gallery show that we did at Mexican Heritage Plaza, which was crazy undertaking. Shout out to Joe Miller and Works for the support. Rios for helping prepare that show. We've been doing more gallery stuff, which is kind of crazy. But and then just for the last thing on the SJSU photo students, I saw Regina Joseph, who was in this issue, I think yesterday, post something on Instagram that Adidas liked some of her photos because she did like a tennis shoot, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
So, but cool to keep up. with these
she's
people.
Super talented. Yeah. Coldwater streetwear, Jubo clothing. Yeah, incredible guys.
Being the change they want to see, creating the designs out in Japantown, in San Jose.
Everybody's gonna say something about I always want the frowny. They're super nice people. But I like this shot though. It makes you more curious, but they have nice smiles in real life.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're good guys.
The Glow shot this.
Yeah.
Did that. And then also here, just the braid culture. That was like such a different kind of flair.
Skits.
Yeah, which was super cool. And they were out there.
At the plaza, had some mannequin heads braided up.
Let's see what else going on. I'm just kind of going through this one. Oh, yeah. And then, going from braids, from clothing, from sustainable garden, and then belly dancing, right? And Petra was there.
House of Inanna.
Yeah.
They were super fun. Got the show started.
Yeah, Cynthia did the photography for this, and I'm pretty sure Priya did the writing for that.
Yeah, Cynthia does a lot of the dancers.
It kind of just happens that way.
Okay.
It's not. It wasn't really intentional.
Yeah.
I just kind of like looked through the list and and then I just like, Cynthia would do a great job of this. So this is of course by Polaroid J. Rosanna. She teaches at San Jose State as well, right? And she also, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then she also helps out with.
She does.
Yeah, and she helps out with. She's a co-founder of Eastside Magazine.
Yep.
Yeah. Just her work there with
Powerhouse.
Oh, why don't you talk about
Hen Boogie? Hopefully enjoying the beaches in Hawaii.
Yeah, he moved.
Recently moved.
Yeah, he said his goal was to be featured in Content Magazine and then move from there.
And then he could leave the South Bay.
Yeah, he could leave because he's done everything that you could do. Yeah.
No, Henry's awesome, man. Just such a legend in the scene. I got to do one of my first DJ gigs in town with him and Julius Papp, and just such a great guy. With such a pedigree in from hip hop crews to DJing to he's booking Still OG for a while, so really fun. And Brandon Roos got to write this article, which I know both of them were kind of nervous about just how it was going to come out because Henry couldn't read it before it was done, and then Brandon knows the whole history of everything music related in town, right? Totally. So he's like, how do I cover such a breadth of work in the community? But they were both really pleased.
Yeah, and Stan did the photos at Still OG. I think this is at Still OG, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some fun YouTube videos on there about what is it? You ain't got no beats.
Oh.
Where Hen Boogie kind of talks about that, but I type him into YouTube. He's got some DJ sets on there too.
And then Math Rock
totally stole the show at the pickup party.
Yeah, they were great.
They were so great, man.
Yeah, great musicians, and it's good.
And fun connections there too. I think we talked about this. We talked about this issue. I think we did a podcast about it. But Mark Arroyo used to, I think, teach with Anna. The lead guitarist there, and then Mark was at the show at the pickup party, so he was super stoked to see kind of the work live on. So.
Well, there it is. There is 2000. There it went, man. Come and go. 2025 will be gone just as fast. But wow, that was quite a year. A lot of good stuff. What this last year? What was kind of like you already said? Like your top songs were Kid Lord. What else was in your top music that you were listening last year?
Kid Lord was at the top, which is really funny. I mean, I don't typically like re-listen to stuff.
Yeah.
So it's always my kind of like on repeat playlist that kind of find their way to the top. Recently into a little bit more modern folk stuff.
Who's like modern folk?
So like Sam Doors, Des Londes, they're kind of like another Pacific Northwest group. And then
Bon Iver, is that modern folk?
Yeah, it's a little bit more progressive. Yeah.
Depressing.
And then Sierra Farrell, who's really awesome. She spent some time up in the Pacific Northwest too. But other than that, I listened to, or I was watching a show recently where some dude got called out for only listening to playlists and not like experiencing full albums from front to back.
Sure.
But I feel like I kind of fall into that genre. I mean, I have my whole vinyl collection where I listen to stuff, listen to artists. But a lot of times when I'm on Spotify daily listening, I'm on Discover Weekly. I'm shuffling. So. Yeah. But how about you?
Well, I was really shocked on my little thing that they do. And surprisingly, I actually can't remember, was it? I think, but Lenny Kravitz.
Of course.
But I haven't really been listening to him. But I don't know. It was weird. I've been doing the DJ thing. I think I talked about it even probably last year. And I don't know. I'm trying to do stuff. So actually, I've been trying to listen. I was listening to, more recently, Chappell Roan.
Okay.
And I was listening to the new Billie Eilish. I really actually like that album.
Yeah.
I tried to listen to Rosé. I didn't really get into that.
I will give you a lot of credit. You definitely take big swings at what's hip right now.
I try to listen to stuff.
Sometimes your headphone falls out in the office and I hear you listening to Chappell Roan. I'm like, all right, Daniel.
But you know what I mean? And actually, I was listening to Kendrick. I was trying to look at Kendrick Lamar. I was trying to listen to all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And even I was listening to Tyler Creative and, trying to get listening to, I try to do like all kinds of stuff, but I would say though, I'm just like, quite honestly, this is weird. I'm just really in a Pink Floyd mood.
I was gonna say Pink Floyd from the very beginning.
Yeah, just because I can sit there and I can work and it can be in the back. But I just discovered this guy who does soundtracks like for Severance and all this kind of stuff. Okay. It's really weird kind of atmosphere kind of music. Theodore Shapiro. So I've been listening to that, just kind of listen.
Soundtrack stuff.
It's kind of, but it's a little too soundtracky. That's what's good about Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely trippy, but it's, so anyways,
grounded in the trip.
Yeah. What about you? Anything you've been reading? Besides Content Magazine and all the articles?
I've been reading a ton of magazines. I think I said that last time. I started a bunch of subscriptions. Yeah. But I've been reading Carla Mag out of LA, Contemporary Art Review, Los Angeles. Bicycle Quarterly, that's produced by Renee Hurst, which is a cycling brand, which has some really fun stuff in it. And then Under the Radar Mag, which I think they're out of Arkansas, but they have like a big emphasis on like British pop.
Oh, you were talking about that.
So, but really cool to see how everybody else is kind of producing magazines.
Yeah.
So, but that's been a lot of fun. Oh, and then Bike Packing Journal also. That's like a big, hefty quarterly thing that they put out about cycling, bike camping. So
yeah, I'm actually for reading for me right now. I'm trying to make myself get through Overstory, which is pretty good. I'm about 3/4 through.
You just read these tomes, though.
Yeah, it's not that long, but I'm just like, I wanted to read it because I've heard a number of people talk about how it was impactful to them, and it's about trees and the connection and stuff like that. But the first part of the stories and stuff like that, they're pretty fatalistic and stuff like that. People dying, people like living and dying, and kind of so. I don't know, but actually, what did I read right before that one? I can't remember what else. I don't know. Do you remember what I was reading?
You reading Blood Meridian?
Oh yeah, Blood
Meridian. About people dying.
Yeah, that was wacky. Yeah, that was
McCarthy.
crazy. Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah, that was.
Do you read anything light ever? Maybe.
No, not really.
Other magazines? What's
actually, I don't really look at. I don't really read magazines. I skim them a little bit, and then I'm more looking at the photos and the layouts.
Yeah, that's fair. I've been reading them front to back, which my partner looks at me like I'm crazy. Like, don't you look through and see what you want to read first? And I'm like, but I've also kind of been in the mindset of reading things front to back, like for proofing and everything else.
Yeah, kind of getting a feel.
Yeah, the flow. I'm starting to understand some of your like weird rule of thumb stuff about like where the main feature goes and like where this goes, or like the cover story and like other stuff.
Yeah.
There is some method to the madness.
There is method. There is a little bit of, but we don't follow it.
No,
because there's whole.
Well, everybody's got their own spice on it.
Yeah, there's a whole kind of like what should go on the cover and all that kind of stuff. But
looking at 2024.
Yeah.
In the rear view.
I can't remember it. 2024.
Yeah, wins for 2024. And then, what we were thankful for from 2024.
Yeah, that's a good question. Wins that we finished, that we got 4 issues out.
Yeah.
Even with some glitches behind the scenes of some craziness that happened.
There was some craziness in 2024.
Yeah, I think
from
2025.
Flexies to prints
to print issues, errors and stuff like that, but keeps on going. I don't know. I mean, looking back at the canon of the year, I just proud that I think we did a great job. I think we featured a great breadth of different artists and genres, and it all looks really nice. Yeah. So thank you for your work on it.
Oh, thank you for your
great pickup parties,
guidance. Yeah.
I would say. Yeah. What about for you? What's your kind of like win and thankfulness?
Wins are just parties in general. Because they kind of circle everything that we kind of do, right? It's kind of like the last pin that goes into everything, and kind of a time to kind of look back. But really proud of all the pickup parties, everybody that was part of them and volunteered, all of the venues, all of the sponsors, all of the supporters, people that come out. I know our most recent one wasn't 2024 technically, but it's... it was torrential downpour. We still had like 250, 300 people show up. So
that was great at the fairgrounds,
really exciting to kind of see it in real action. And then for parties, moving forward, we had our contributors party right before the new year.
Was fun.
Just getting to engage with everybody that makes the magazine possible. So parties are the win.
Parties.
And then, just grateful for, the opportunity to kind of interact and engage with, the creative culture of the South Bay. And we say that a lot, the creative culture of the South Bay, but I hope that people that read the magazine can see that that creative culture is individuals working together to make it possible to live and create here. So
cool. All right, that's it. There you go. So that's 2024, and we'll kind of give you as we're going forward, we'll give you a little overview of each issue. as we go through the year, and then we'll be at 2026.
Next pickup party.
March 14th
Friday.
at City Hall.
San Jose City Hall.
In the Rotunda.
And it'll be kind of
part of the whole day.
With a whole day art empowerment conference, talking about artist journeys, which I probably should be working on now.
Yeah, you can do that after we get done. And then that show will be focused on kind of like the South Bay Vietnamese culture and called Connect, which was your name to change the title. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So that's it for us. I'm Daniel and
David Valdespino.
And that's it. Talk to you later. Thank you for listening to the Content Magazine podcast. Follow us on social media at Content Mag. Become a member and help us to continue to tell the stories of the South Bay creatives. This episode's music is 408 by Jack Pavlina. Follow him on Spotify and also on his Instagram at Jack Pavlina Music.